Welcome to Season 7 of Far Reach Voyages, where we share our love of sailing and adventure travel. This episode of Far Reach Voyages is about a single piece of equipment failure. It's essentially the only piece of equipment on the boat that's ever failed me. It's a small piece of equipment, but its failure had big implications. As part of the complete rebuild of the Far Reach, I'd gutted her to a bare hull, so I had a blank canvas to work with. I'd spent years planning the rebuild. Based on a lifetime of sailing, I knew exactly what I wanted, which was a strong, capable sea boat built for long-range expeditionary sailing, oriented on sailing performance, with a simple but elegant layout and utterly reliable. Every piece of gear, every modification I made to the boat was chosen to create a unified system, a holistic single entity, an affordable, reliable, capable voyaging machine. But I also wanted to be able to repair or fix everything on the boat myself. In other words, I wanted to be self-sufficient. While I believe I achieved my goal, one piece of essential equipment has repeatedly let me down, and that's the galley faucet. It's the primary way I draw water from the water tanks, so its small size is inversely proportional to its importance. When I rebuilt the boat, I chose not to install a pressurized water system because it requires power to operate and is an unnecessary complication. It's just another system to fail. It doesn't do anything a manual system can't do except lend itself to a hot water system, which in turn requires more hardware, more plumbing, and a source of energy to heat the water. I like hot showers as much as anyone, so I have a super simple, totally reliable hot water system that doesn't require pressurized water. But that's a story for another day. Selecting the freshwater manual galley pump took a bit of thought, since I built the galley a very specific way. This included building a toe kick under the galley sink for improved ergonomics, which made installing a foot pump problematic. Also, I didn't like the simple faucets normally associated with foot pumps. The best manual faucet on the market appeared to be an old warhorse, the Fynspray WS brass galley pump made in New Zealand by White Star. It had been around for years with a good reputation for reliability, so I bought one and carefully installed it. I liked it at first, even though it was slow, since it only delivered water on one of the two strokes. But after a couple of years, it wouldn't pull water. I took it apart and everything seemed fine. It had a nitrile cup, so I ordered a new one. The new one arrived and I installed it, and it worked fine for a few years, and then it failed again. I once again took it apart and examined it carefully. Everything looked fine. I sent a couple of emails to White Star Products in New Zealand looking for some guidance. All I heard was crickets. I never got a single response from White Star. But I was stuck unless I wanted to go with a different pump. But there wasn't anything else on the market I liked. So I unhappily ordered another nitrile cup, another $26. While waiting for the new cup to arrive, I had an idea. My boat originally came with a whale gusher foot pump. It was in a box of boat parts in the garage and had been used for at least 25 years. I took the Fynspray out of the boat and I brought it home to the shop. I connected it to the whale gusher foot pump. I tested it to see if it would draw water. I noticed it was delivering a lot more water than the Fynspray because it was pulling water on both the up and down stroke. I reassembled the Fynspray and put the pickup hose in a bucket of water. Nothing. It still would not draw water. The pickup hose, the clear vinyl, is back in the water, bucket of water. It's not connected to the whale gusher. Pump's all put back together with the diaphragm. Nothing. No suction. It's useless to you when it's unreliable. And in this case, it doesn't even work. In the meantime, the new nitrile cup finally arrived. What I learned was revealing. Several days ago, I ordered a replacement plunger cup for the Fynspray WS62. This is the new one. And it comes in this kit with this washer and this packing material. This is the one I took out of the pump. And it began to give me trouble after just a few years. If you look at this, as I showed earlier, that's about a 1/16 of an inch or more thinner than the inside diameter of the barrel of the pump. The barrel of the pump is exactly 1.5 inches inside diameter, and you can see on there how this has shrunk, this nitrile cup. I don't really understand why it would shrink being made of nitrile, but it has. only pumps fresh water. So it's not getting a seal on the inside surface of the barrel as you work the handle. So it's pulling up, and so there's no vacuum created, there's no suction, so no suction, no water. Here's the new one. If you look at it, it is actually a hair more, maybe a 64th more than an inch and a half. So it's getting good contact along the edge of this plunger cup, along the inside surfaces of the barrel of the pump. So you're getting vacuum, you're creating a vacuum, and you're getting suction, and so you're pulling water up. So what's happening is this is shrinking, and it won't work. And it shouldn't do that after just a few years. The advantage of the leather cup that they used to have is you could soak it in water and it would sort of expand back to its original size. But you can't do anything with this one when it shrinks. There's nothing you can do. And this was $26 plus what it takes to pull the pump apart and do the assembly and everything else. Shouldn't do that. The other thing I've noticed is the older nitrile cup is firmer, it's stiff, it's harder. This one's still, this new one is more supple and flexible. So I'm just going to say, my assessment looking at it is there's a design flaw in this cup. This pump should last many, many, many years without any trouble. The whale gusher that I hooked up was 40 years old and worked perfectly. This is a few years old and you can't pump any water with it. So if you have a Fynspray and you want to continue to use it the way it's designed, you need to carry a couple of these nitrile plunger cups so that you can replace them when you lose vacuum. But we're going to modify it and make it work for us. This is a piece of copper that I cut on a hole saw. This is a piece of just rubber, I guess it's about 1/8 of an inch thick. Is a washer, rubber, or a gasket I should say. See how it works. So here's my solution. Took all the guts out, cut a copper disc and a rubber gasket on my hole saw, screwed these back down, got it plumbed to the whale gusher Mark III. And that's what we'll be using in the galley. That's a double action pump. It's pumping water on both the up and the downstroke, whereas the original pump here with the handle only pumped on the one stroke. Plus you're constantly trying to pump it up into the pump. And the whale gusher maintains the water in the hose. Now that I had a solution for the Fynspray, I needed to figure out how to modify the toe kick I'd built under the galley counter so the foot pump could be properly positioned. It'd be easier if I could take it home to the shop. Far reach is in complete chaos in here. I mean, a lot of stuff has been removed, obviously. But anytime you start taking things apart, you gotta find a place to put stuff. So the cabinetry is going to come out, this galley cabinet, sink cabinet, so that I can make the modifications to the Fynspray pump and put in the foot pump down here below the toe kick. That's where you get a problem with the foot pump, is you've got a toe kick under there. So that'll have to be modified. The best way to do that is to take all this home into my shop. So 2 bolts in the sink top all came out. That juniper storage box in there, it's just bolted to that partition so it stays in there. So there's 4 fasteners in that piece of, what is that? Douglas fir. 5 fasteners there. 5 fasteners in this piece of ash. And this whole cabinet will lift out with the toe kick. Then I can pull that oiled piece of walnut out from underneath it. All that will come out and can go home to the shop. This is one of the advantages of rebuilding your own boat. And when you do that, think about future disassembly. That's something that production boat builders never consider. It's not part of their plan, but it needs to be part of our plan when we rebuild our own boats, because everything has to be repaired, everything has to be got to eventually. Make your life a lot easier if you can take things out. You don't have to cut through fiberglass tapping to get it out. Once I had the galley cabinet home, it was just a matter of figuring out the ergonomics and geometry of what would work best while the boat would be stationary, as well as in a wide range of sailing conditions. The foot pump, of course, dramatically improves your ability to have both hands free for other tasks while pumping water. Once I had major modifications complete, I took the cabinet back to the boat to make a template of the cut angle for the new faceplate. Then all that was left was final trim and varnish work. Finally, I tested it out. I was able to test the foot pump more thoroughly this past November under sail when I briefly had the far reach back in the water. I like the new modification very much. I do, however, carry a full rebuild kit for the foot pump and a new in-the-box whale gusher as a spare. I can't say what's up with the White Star Products Fynspray galley pump. It's only my opinion based on my personal experience with the pump I own and have used for 10 years that leads me to think there's some kind of problem with the nitrile cup. Maybe they can offer an optional leather cup for those that want it. Perhaps other sailors haven't had the problems I've had and they're satisfied with its performance. But as for me, I wouldn't buy another one. I do, however, like the hybrid system I have in place now. A handsome, sturdy brass faucet with an inexpensive, more convenient to use foot pump, which happens to provide dramatically improved performance. Best of all, if you like the system I have, you don't need to buy a new, expensive Fynspray WS 62. You can find a used one in almost any condition and easily and cheaply modify it to work with a more reliable pump system. If you enjoyed this episode of Far Reach Voyages, let us know in the comments. Also, if you like and subscribe, it helps promote the video so others can enjoy it too. See you in the next episode.